But here's the thing about this. It's not a bad thing because it's smash mouth politics. I understand smash mouth politics. It's not a bad thing because they can be tough, but we can't be tough because of my principles. It's a bad thing because you're not fighting for what we fight for. What we fight for is free speech. It's not free speech to interrupt a play. That's a bogus argument. It's not free speech to shut down other people's speech when they have the right to speak because it's a theater. People have paid to watch the play. They're there to watch the play. It's not an incitement to kill Donald Trump. It's a play in which they made a stupid political statement. It's outrageous, and you feel outraged, but that doesn't make it an outrage like a rape or something, a war atrocity. It's not war. This is the other thing. They keep saying, well, it's a war. And on a war, we have that. It's not war. And I'll tell you why it's not a war. Because the purposes of war and political fights are different. The purpose in a war is to slaughter as many of your enemies as you can until the other side surrenders. The purpose in a political fight is to convince those people who can be convinced to come on your side in the next vote and vote down the opposition. And in the case of the far left, hopefully to eliminate them as a political force. And the funny thing about this is we're winning this fight. We're winning this fight. The left has lost 1,000 seats through the Barack Obama years. Their media is collapsing. Nobody's watching their media. Their universities are losing people because of the things that go on there. Everything is, they've lost credibility. Everybody hates the media. And now we're going to give them talking points by stopping free speech ourselves. You can't fight if you're not fighting for what you believe in. Right? It's not about this is not like, people beat their chests and they use this hyper macho talk on Twitter. Yeah, we got to do this, and we got to do that, and we got to show them, and they did it to us, so we can do it to them. What good is it if you're not fighting for the things we fight for? We fight for free speech. And as you saw on that Supreme Court decision, we're winning that speech. So a lot of this is just about anger and the rage. Pardon me, I have to keep injecting coffee or I'm just going to pitch forward, face forward onto my keyboard here. Peggy Noonan wrote a piece about rage in the Wall Street Journal, and her column in the Wall Street Journal. And I really liked the way Peggy Noonan covered the election. I always say I like Peggy Noonan because she writes like a girl. And what I mean by that is that she brings a kind of womanly sensibility. So many women who write political columns basically imitate men, and they are not as good as some of the men columnists. But Peggy Noonan, I also think this is true of Hemingway. She brings a certain female sensibility that enlightens corners of things that, don't get enlightened by male columnists. Unfortunately, she also, when she goes astray, I think she also goes astray in certain ways that I can't follow because they're a little soft for me. And ever since Trump has been elected, she's been sort of trying to find a way to bring people together. And I think there is a way to bring people together. I'm not hopeless that we can come back together. And I'll talk about that in a while. But I don't think it's going to be by being nice, right? I was joking with Shapiro over the weekend that I believe in useless calls for evanescent civility because they pass the time and they distract people so I can sneak out and get a drink. And I think, the problem with useless calls for evanescent civility is that they just devolve into arguments about who broke the truce first. That's all that happens. It's like, oh yeah, well you called for civility, but then some clown on Twitter said this, so it just completely disappears, and it really is evanescent, and it really does disappear. So that is not the answer, but there are some answers. But what we got to say goodbye to people on Facebook and YouTube. Come on over to thedailywire.com so you can hear the rest of the show, but you could watch the whole thing there if you would just subscribe. A lousy $8 a month, and you get to be in the mailbag and ask questions and have all your life's problems solved. Plus, if you subscribe for a year, you get Ben Shapiro and David Shapiro's new book, and here it is, Say It's So. And it's a great title because it's about the 2005 White Sox championship season. And of course, the Black Sox, the scandal of the Black Sox, somebody said, say it ain't so, Joe, say you aren't dirty. So this is Say It's So because they actually won, which had not happened in Ben's lifetime and will never happen in his lifetime again. But anyway, good book. You can get that as a gift if you subscribe for a year. So come on over to thedailywire.com.